Guest tonight is a two-time back-to-back Academy Award winner, and now this man has written and directed his first motion picture entitled That Thing You Do, which opens on Friday. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back the multi-talented and lovely Tom Hanks. Tom!
Song. Thank you.
Welcome.
Thank you. Man, that sounds great with Dave. That sounds great with the horn section, Paul. I gotta admit.
It's a kid, yeah. That's how if Sounds Incorporated had done it.
What's the name of that song, Paul?
I think it's from that new movie that's out.
It's never too soon to hold the nation hostage with
that
a
is the title song
tune.
from the film of the same name.
That Thing You Do,
That
yes,
Thing
sir.
You Do,
yes.
yeah.
With an exclamation mark on
Now,
the end.
let's talk a little bit about the film. First of all, to me, this is amazing. I can remember talking to you a couple of years ago when you were walking around scouting locations for this film. And when I saw you then, I had no idea that not only were you directing it, I knew you were directing it. I didn't know you were starring in it. I didn't know you had written it.
No, I'm not starring in it. If this was Gilligan's Island, I'd be the professor. So I'm not really...
That is a bad idea for a movie.
Well, you know what?
And Tom Hanks is the professor.
I say things like, okay, you cut that out. Now, come on. Gilligan.
So, but you wrote the film.
Yeah, I wrote the screenplay.
All right, tell us about the idea. Is it an idea you've had for a long time?
Well, I was always kind of fascinated by those bands that were not the Beatles. You know, I was 8 years old in '64, and I was always convinced the bands that were not the Beatles would be as great as the Beatles were. Yeah. I was convinced the Dave Clark Five were a million times better than the Beatles. Because there was 5 of them, there was a saxophone player, and
there was 5.
They wore turtlenecks, and you know, I just thought, well, there they are. They're the next Beatles. I'm convinced.
Yeah. And they could have been. You just didn't know, because it looked like everybody who was coming over and had a group might be.
Then there was also the question of who's going to be the American Beatles? Right. You know, is it the Beau Brummels? Were the Beau Brummels an American band?
San Francisco, yeah.
There you go. Is it going to be the Beau Brummels? Is it going to be Traffic? Is it going to be Loading Zone? Is it going to be wow, ooh, la la?
Jerry and the Pacemen.
Is it going to be the Chartbusters? You know,
Chartbusters. The Remains.
Not bad.
So anyway, you were curious about the fate for these other people.
Yeah. I'm always, you know, what happens when our story is about a band and they change drummers.
Yeah.
And what happens when the band changes drummers. Not unlike, say, Pete Best, Ringo Starr, that whole dynamic. And the
How long did it take you to write the screenplay?
About 6 months.
6 months. You had the idea, and it was kind of something you were working on in your head for quite a while?
Well, I was kind of carrying it around with me, and I thought, hey, you know, I've read some scripts.
Yeah.
I think I know the form. Interior day.
So,
Patterson's Appliances.
So in doing this now, you're in charge of everything. You're directing it now, and you also are in the film.
Yes, that's
and you
true.
Must just be exhausted doing this.
Well, I am. Yeah, I'm pretty tired. You know what? I'm drunk, Dave. I've been. Come on.
There we go.
Oh. You know, first of all, let me point out that I am making a joke. But
yeah,
secondly,
right.
your staff makes a fabulous zombie. I got to tell you.
Zombie.
Upstairs.
Zombie.
They're a green drink.
Cocktail,
Yeah, it is a cocktail.
But when you're directing a film, it's all on you. You got to answer every question every minute of every day.
You get there, and at 6:45 in the morning, you are answering a question that is going to impact your film for the rest of eternity.
Sure.
Likewise, at 4 o'clock in the morning, you have to do the same, and you cannot dodge that responsibility.
Yeah.
You cannot say, "Look, I don't care. Take a vote. Gather everybody, gather the crew around the burrito truck, and let's figure this thing out. Who says we should go tie on Lenny here? Anybody? Where are the Teamsters? Send somebody over to the Teamsters restaurant and find out what they think about this."
You had a burrito truck?
Oh, man. Well, see, the other side of this, Dave, is the power that you have as director.
Did you go nuts? Were you a nice guy?
I had people destroyed, Dave.
Really?
I had the police for the city of Orange and made some folks disappear. And we were able to get the shots that we wanted. You have this entire army of people who are there to do your bidding.
Right.
So if you have to be careful, because you're kind of like Black Bolt. You know, if you whisper something, it's going to happen like that. I once commented that I like turkey jerky.
I'm sorry?
I like turkey jerky, Dave.
Is that a dance? Or?
No.
What are we talking about? It's a turkey jerky.
There we go. It is a turkey jerky. We were
Nice going.
We were in between shots.
I like that.
In between shots. It's a new dance, Chris, and it started right here.
Yeah.
We were having a discussion about, you know, what is good and what is bad for you in between shots on the thing, and we all agreed that, you know, beef jerky is not, you know, it's red meat,
Yeah.
and turkey jerky is better for you because it's 98% fat-free. Well, somebody happened to hear this, and the next thing I know, hundreds of birds are being slaughtered over by the scene shop.
Just to get you a bucket of jerky.
I walked past it. The drying carcasses are hanging by the hundreds. It went all across the park. Somebody's building a smokehouse.
Yeah,
they flew in some Amish guy who had this blend of spices and things.
Oh,
and
Amish spices.
How thick do you want it cut, Mr. Hanks? And the next thing I know,
Come on,
I've got
Tom,
turkey
come
jerky
on,
like stacked
Come
up
on,
like
do it
that.
again. Let's see it
Come
again.
on.
Come on, here we go. Yes! He's won two Academy Awards.
Brutal.
Attaboy!
It's brutal.
We'll let him towel off. We'll be right back here with Tom Hanks. Tom Hanks is here, ladies and gentlemen. Gina Gershon and River Dance. You talked about when you were 8 years old and wondering about all of these bands and what became of them, what life held for them. Were you ever in a band?
Not even close, Dave.
Right?
Not even close.
But you wrote some of the songs in the,
Yeah,
in the
I
film,
did.
didn't you?
But I didn't even listen to any music when I was in high school. I
Really?
had like one record. I had the best of Eric Burdon and the Animals. I got that when I was about 10, and I kept it till about 17. And finally, my second record was Airy by John Denver. So that's how hip I was.
So, but how are you able then to write music for your film? Look at this. We got it right here.
There's our
Here's
fabulous
the
CD.
soundtrack
There it is
album,
right
and
there.
then it
It's
says
very
right on the back, also produced by Tom Hanks and Gary Gotzman.
Is that hilarious?
Yeah. So how do you do that?
Well, Gary Goetzman is the main guy. He was a producer. Yeah, he did two things in the 70s. He produced records and sold waterbeds. And guess where he made his vast fortune, Dave? He made it starting waterbed.
Do you have a waterbed?
No, I don't think
Did you ever have one?
No, I think they're insane. Come on. Look at those things might pop.
Yeah.
At least they would around our house, so we'd be testing them. Hey, wait a minute, hold on.
Ladies and gentlemen, please.
I didn't mean
subpoena
that,
this audience, but you know. So how would you, getting back to the original, how would you write? You know, how can a guy who's not musical write music?
Well, we wanted to be all original music in the movie because who wants to hear Del Shannon sing "Runaway" one more time? We just didn't want that. So we wanted to be a new.
Now wait a minute.
Del
I kind of like to hear
Well,
that.
that's not bad. You know, it was used as the theme from the film TV show Crime Story. So right away.
I see. Well, no, that's
there's
okay.
too many commercials use the thing. So we wanted to have original music, and so thematically we had to come up with stuff. And so the question was often asked, so what would that be? And I said, well, I think it should go something like bum da da dum da da dum da da dum. And the next thing you know, I'm on the phone to our arranger, you know, singing, literally leaving a musical message on his answering
Really?
machine.
So
Yes.
that's all writing music is?
You know, that's all it is. It's not sitting by a window on a rainy day going, the clouds come down. It's not that.
Beethoven
All
did
you
it.
need is a touch-tone phone. Oh, you're as cute as a cuddly bear, and I am soft as the wavy air. And that's pretty much how it is. You know, I understand that on the new anthology, essentially you get George Harrison's phone answering machine, the little mini cassette.
Right.
And
There
it's
you go.
John leaving messages.
I know you directed some Tales of the Crypt. Was that what you
I
directed?
did Tales from the Crypt
Yeah.
and Fallen Angels.
Now,
for
when
Showtime.
you undertook this big theatrical film, a huge
Massive
project,
undertaking.
yeah, did you talk to your other famous director
I
buddies?
did. I had a big lunch, invited them all over, a buffet.
Who was at that lunch?
Penny Marshall was there.
Penny Marshall, very good.
And she said, it's
Directed
always,
you, yeah.
Big and a league of their own. And so it's so easy. Oh, it's easy. Oh, it's easy you want to direct a film. Oh, it's easy. So
Having a little jerky.
that was a little bit of a penny. Then I sent her outside to finish the cigarette. Ron Howard was there.
He was TV's Opie.
He was Opie Cunningham,
Yeah.
we call him. Opie, And he said, hey, don't be afraid. Okay, great. I think it's great that you're doing it. I think it's great. Don't be afraid to shoot. Don't be afraid to shoot. Because, you know, the movies aren't going to get made unless you shoot them. So just set up a camera and shoot. Don't be afraid to shoot. You know, wide, tighter. That's how all the best movies were made. All right, thanks, Ron. Thank you. And Gary Marshall. Essentially, look, if they weren't in the cast of either Happy Days of Laverne and Shirley, I didn't talk to them. Gary gave the most heartfelt and most useful advice. Change your shoes at lunch.
What does that mean?
You're on your feet a lot, Tom, and your feet get used to one kind of shoe. And then it conforms to the shape of the contours of the shoe. So at lunch, bring another pair of shoes. That's the secret. And then you change on your feet. Thank you for changing the shape.
Yeah.
And then they get you through the rest of the day. And the secret of directing Tom film, the shoes.
The shoes.
The feet is where it all
Did that work? Did that help? The shoes?
I change my shoes every day.
There you go.
And I've gotten some
you
pretty
probably
good
see it on the
reviews.
screen. Exactly. Congratulations. You just had well, not so very long ago, had a birthday, 40 years old.
I turned 40 over the
How does that make you feel, Mr. Big Shot? You're 40.
Thank you. Listen, I felt like I was 40 when I was 26, so I think I gained 14 years somehow in the process.
Yeah, but it doesn't really mean anything, does it?
No, not at all.
And of course, as we all, it's very obvious, there's nothing you can do about it either, is
We
there?
had a great party, though.
Yeah, what was the party?
My wife threw me a surprise party at the
You know, I want to interrupt you right
here.
here to thank you for one thing. First of all, for your kindness and friendship over the years. But, you know, I've been in television like 16 years. This was the first, like, personal event function I'd ever been invited to.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Did Dave come to the party? Did Dave come?
I didn't say it.
I understand, but you were invited. You were invited.
It takes more than an invitation to get me at a party.
We were actually, when she showed me the list of people who were invited, I said, are you nuts?
Sure.
Honey, Stanley Kubrick is not going to come to my birthday party.
I understand that.
Kurosawa, I think, is busy, and David Letterman, I don't think it's going to happen.
But tell the folks where. Can you tell them where it was?
It was at the Griffith Park Observatory.
Yeah.
And
See,
it was,
that would have been. I would have think that'd just be lovely.
it was tremendous. I didn't know what was going on.
Did you get to look through the big telescope?
They had the big telescope. We had a planetarium show. They had a laserium show. Laserium. Have you been to Laserium,
No,
Dave?
no,
Listen,
never been invited.
You know what? After truly, they get put on Pink Floyd or something like. I swear, Dave. The laser artists are brilliant people. I'm not knocking their art. It's a beautiful craft.
Of course.
But truly, after 45 seconds, you've seen the whole thing.
Yeah.
You know? You're back there like that. That's it. Essentially wiggly, squiggly lines, and that's it. A fabulous sound system.
Have you ever seen it with Del Shannon?
Del Shannon singing Runaway.
You're talking.
Now that's a
now, what did you look through the telescope? What
well,
did you see?
Jupiter was out, so you could see Jupiter,
see
and you
the
could
moons
see
of Jupiter?
You could see the moons of Jupiter, and the moon was out, of course. It was very low. They had 2001: A Space Odyssey playing on a monitor somewhere. It was great. It was fabulous.
It
and of
sounds like
course,
a nice time.
I was essentially talking to people I hadn't seen for years, for a long, long time. That was pretty. Hey, how you doing? Hey, great. How was your party? You know, I don't know because I was talking to people so much.
So the film, of course, opens Friday.
Yes, it does.
Expectations?
October 4th.
Is this going to be like a huge film?
Oh, you know, I don't think so. I think it'll be. Well, yes, sure, of course, Dave. There's going to be riots in the streets, Dave. There's going to be pandemonium. It's going to shut down Texas. I think it's going to be. I'm telling you, I think the George Washington, the Interstate 80 is going to be closed, Dave, because so many people are going to be pouring in because of the movie.
My God, what a responsibility.
I like the movie a lot. I'm very happy with it, and the music is
If you had to sum up the movie, to describe it to people in a sentence or two, what comes to your mind?
Well, I'd say, let's understand this, Dave. It's not a remake of Yojimbo, although I was thinking of that. I stole some crane shots from Paths of Glory, so if you like Paths of Glory. Hiroshima Mon Amour, it's pretty much the same thematic territory as, and I have the Tsarist soldiers coming down the steps, just like in the battleship Potemkin. So that's the kind of
You should have made it like Jaws or E.T. or something.
You know, I didn't see those movies, so...
The film, That Thing You Do, opens Friday. I'm very, very impressed by this effort, Tom.
Well,
you
thanks,
continue to amaze and delight everybody. Thank you very much for being here.
Always a pleasure, Dave.
Tom Hanks, ladies and gentlemen.